Hi friends, welcome back to Nitahcrochets. My name is Anita. So today I am going to be showing you how to make this top. And if you want to make this skirt as well, the tutorial for it is already on my channel. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. So this top is very easy to make, although it could look intimidating for the most of you that look at it. It has an open back and it's very simple. So let me take you through what we need. So I'm going to be working with this robin yarn simply because it's the one that I have available to me in a bright color, and I really wanted this to be in a bright shade. So you can work with any DK yarn of your choice, because I'm going to be doubling my strands simply because this is light fingering yarn, but any DK yarn should be all right. Okay, and while you're working with DK yarn, please do not double your strands. All right, so I'm going to be working with a 4mm hook. You'll need a pair of scissors. And lastly is a packet of beads and a 0.5mm hook. That's to help us get our yarn through our beads. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Now let's get started. We are going to make a magic ring. Okay, and you will yarn over, insert your hook into the ring and pull up a loop just like that. Then yarn over, pull through all loops. All right, so now from here we are going to chain 2, and this more like single crochet, and the 2 chains that we have worked are all going to act like a double crochet stitch. Okay, so now we are going to yarn over and we are going to work 11 double crochets into the circle. So that means if we add the 11 double crochets plus this acting stitch makes it a total of 12 stitches. Okay, so go into your circle and work 11 double crochets, and I'm going to get back to show you what to do. So once you're there, you're just going to pull this yarn end. It will help to close off the circle, and then we shall get into the 3rd chain stitch and work our slip stitch. So we have our very first row complete. Now going on to the next row, we are going to chain 3, yarn over into this the back loop. Okay, now you see we do have like 3 braids or loops like this, and then there is the one that folds at the back. If you just take up only this, you're going to put so much strain onto the strand and it will look loosened up. Okay, that's why I advise that you take on the back loop, the 2 back loops here. Okay, just like you see this and this, you take on the 2 of them, this and that, you take onto the 2 of them, this and that. That helps not to put so much strain on just one loop like this. You see that, which we don't want. So we are going to take on the 2 back loops. Okay, so here just make your way, find your way into it, just like okay. So now once I am there, I'm going to work another double crochet. The chain 2, remember, counts as a double crochet, so this is my 2nd double crochet. All right, now I'm going to go into this next stitch, and still once again I'm going to take up the 2 back loops. That's the 1 back loop, and then the 2nd back loop is this one here. So just make your way into it. It's going to be a little tricky. So you see there are 2 back loops that I've taken on, and in here we are going to work 2 double crochets. Once again, 2 back loops and work 2 double crochets into the 2 back loops, just like that. So we are just going to continue working 2 double crochets into every 2 back loops. Okay, leaving the front loops lying on top just like that. Okay, so do this all the way until the end of your row, and then work a slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch right here that started there. You should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of this row. Okay, so here we are at the end of my row, and like you can see, this is what I have 24 stitches, and now I am going to work a slip stitch into the third chain stitch. So you're going to still go into the back loop, the 2 back loops, just like that. So it helps us have a front loop even with our very first stitch. So now you're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet stitch, and you're going to work another double crochet into this very same stitch. So those are 2 double crochets. Get into the 2 back loops of the next stitch, just like that, and work a double crochet. Okay, yarn over, get into the 2 back loops of the next stitch, just like that, and work 2 double crochets. So this time we are working 2 double crochets into this stitch and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. See that? Once again, 2 double crochets into the next stitch, all in that very same stitch, and then 1 standalone double crochet into the next stitch, just like that. So this is what you're going to repeat all the way around, and your every row should increase by 12 stitches. Okay, so we are going to work this all the way around, and you're going to have 36 stitches at the end of your row and work a slip stitch. So let me meet you on the next row. Okay, so here we are. I have come to the end of my row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch. Remember, make sure you're leaving a front loop even with your very first stitch. So you work a slip stitch to end your row just like that. So on this row you should have 36 stitches. Then we are moving on to the next row. You're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet stitch, and you're going to work 1 double crochet into this very same stitch. So that means we have 2 double crochets into the very first stitch. Now in the next stitch we get into the back loops and work 2 standalone double crochets into the next 2 stitches. Okay, so that means you're working 1 double crochet into this stitch and 1 double crochet in the next. Okay, then into the third stitch right here we are going to work 2 double crochets all in this very same stitch. So this is how we just keep increasing our circle. Okay, there is no science or mathematics. So once again we go 2 double crochet, 2 standalone double crochets into the next 2 stitches, just like that, and then 2 double crochets into the very same stitch, and that's the next stitch. Remember, we are working into the back loops. You see that? So once again, 2 standalone double crochets into the next 2 stitches, and once you have that, you work 2 double crochets all into that very same stitch, and that's for the next stitch. So this is what you're going to repeat all the way around, and you should have a total of 48 stitches at the end of this row. Work your slip stitch, and I'll just get back to work the next row with you. The rest of the other rows you'll work on your own. I'll just explain what you need to know on the next row. Okay, so I have finished working my row all the way to the end. Size small, do not work the next row with me. I am working this for size medium and large just to show you how to keep expanding your circle, okay? But size small, we have 4 rows and those are just okay. So here we are going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet stitch. And into the back loop of this very first stitch, we are going to work a double crochet, okay? So that means we have 2 double crochets there. And then we get into the back loop of the next stitch, and here we are going to work 1 double crochet. So since we worked 2 independent or standalone double crochets on the previous row, on this row we are working 3 standalone double crochets before we work 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Okay, so these are 2, and then we work the third standalone double crochet, just like that. Then that means into this next row we are working 2 double crochets all in this very same stitch. just like that. Okay, so that's what we are going to repeat. 3 standalone double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that means you're working 1 double crochet into every stitch for the next 3 stitches. All right, and once you have it just like that, that means into this next stitch we are going to be working 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch. So this is what you're going to repeat all the way around. Like I said, every row adds 12 stitches onto it. Okay, now let me just explain something for you guys. Me, I am working for a size medium. Sorry. Me, I am working for a size medium. But if you're working for a size small, you're going to stop at these 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if you're working for a size small, you're going to stop at these 4 rows before I get back to show you how to work the next 2 rows, because the next 2 rows are the ones going to shape our circle into a triangle to give us a shape of an actual bra cap. Okay, but because me, I am working for a size medium, I'm going to go ahead and work 2 more rows to make it 6 rows before I return to work my other 2 rows, which give me the triangular shape. And then if you're working for a size large, you are going to go ahead and add 4 rows onto this, 4 circular rows onto this before you work 2 more rows to give you the triangular shape, okay, that we are looking for. For size medium and large who are still going on and on with their rows, with their circular rows, you're just going to be increasing the number of standalone double crochets that we have per row. Okay, so if on this row you worked 3 standalone double crochets before an increase, which is the 2 double crochets into the very same stitch, that means on the next row you're going to have 4 standalone double crochets before the increase of 2 double crochets into one stitch. And then on the next row after that, if you're still going round and round, you will have 5 standalone double crochets, and then the next row will have 6 standalone double crochets before an increase. Okay, so that's what you're going to repeat, and that's how you increase going forward. But remember, as you increase, you need to keep in mind that we have 2 more rows to work that give us the triangular shape of an actual bra cap. Okay, so here we are. I have worked my 2 rows, and now I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So size large should have a total of 8, and size small should have a total of 4. Okay, and that's how it has to be. So just to be accurate, just going to measure for you the width. Yeah, it's about 5.5 of width. And now we are going to just do a little mathematics. It's going to be very simple, and I'm going to make sure I keep it simple. I pretty much don't have my pen. So what you're going to do is you're going to count all the rows that you have on your row, or sorry, all the stitches that you have on your very last row. So for me, I have 72 stitches. Size small should have around, I think it has 48 stitches. Now what we do is we divide the number of stitches that we have on our last row by 3. So 72, is this even visible for you guys? Oh yeah. Okay, I have 72. So we divide it by 3. And 72 by 3, this gives you 24. Okay, stitches. So that means every 24th stitch, we are going to work a corner. Okay, we are dividing by 3 because we want to create a triangle, and a triangle has 3 corners or sides. All right, so that's why we are dividing by 3. So don't think we just got the number from out of the blue. No, we are dividing by 3 because the triangle has 3 corners, and those 3 corners is what gives us the number 3. So when you divide by 3, the result that you get, that's the number into which per stitch, per that number stitch, if you get what I mean. That's where we are going to work a corner. So that means if I work a corner here, okay, then I'm going to have to count 24 stitches, okay, and into the 24th stitch from the previous corner, I also work a corner, and then also count 24 stitches, and into the 24th stitch from the previous corner I work a corner. So that's how you get to have the triangular shape. So to make our work easier, I'm just going to get my stitch markers and mark up those points, and then so I'm going to assume that my very first corner is right here. This is a broken, okay. Now let's assume this is my very first stitch right here, and that's where I'm going to work my very first corner. So from there we count 24, one stitch marker in there, and then once again starting from the next stitch you count 24. So to prove that what we have done is accurate, we are going to make sure that also the stitches going back to where we started our row are 24. So that's how you prove that what you have is accurate. Now we have our points, and this is how our triangle is going to start to unfold. I'm going to take out my stitch marker and work my corner. So to work the corner we chain 3, which counts as a double crochet stitch, and then I'm going to work 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets into that very same stitch. Okay, so that means we have 4 double crochets with a chain 1 in between the two, just like that. So that's our corner, and now we are going to get our stitch marker and place it into that chain 1 space that we just worked. You see that? Here we are now going to work 1 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch, just like that. You see what we have? So you work, yeah, you work 1 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch until the stitch before the marked stitch. So let me meet you guys there and show you what to do. So once you are at the marked stitch, we take out our stitch marker and then go into the back loop, and in here we are going to work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets once again, all in this very same stitch, just like that. Okay, and then from here you will get your stitch marker and place it into the chain 1 space that we just worked in between this cluster of double crochets. So from here you're still going to work 1 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch until the stitch before the marked stitch. When you get to the marked stitch, you do what we did right here. You work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all into the back loop of this stitch. Then go ahead, work 1 double crochet in the back loop of every stitch all the way until the end and work a slip stitch. So this exactly is what we are going to do on the next row. So let me meet you on the next row just to show you how to go about it. And so we come to the end of our bracket. So this is how the end of my row looks like, and this is what I have. Okay, so here we are. We chain 3, which counts as a double crochet stitch, and we are going to get into the next stitch, which is right here, and work a double crochet. So you make your way into the back loop of that stitch. Now since we have reached the chain 1 space, we are going to take out our stitch marker and we are going to work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets once again, all into this very same stitch, So it's not any different from what we did previously. We no longer need the stitch markers because this is our very last row. And then we go into the back loop of this next stitch, work a double crochet in the back loop of, oh sorry, yeah. So we work our double crochet in there, then work a double crochet. Remember, we are working into the back loop. So find a way to find your way into it. Just like that. So we are going to go all the way until the stitch before the marked stitch, which is this one here. So now I have reached the chain one space. I've taken out my stitch marker, and into the chain one space we are going to work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets once again, all into this very same stitch. So from here you're just going to do exactly what we did on this side. Okay, just going to go into the next stitch right there, cross the back loop, and then work a double crochet. Get into the back loop of the next stitch, work a double crochet. So just do this all the way. When you get to this marked stitch, you work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all into this very same stitch, and then work your 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of the row. You'll cut your yarn, and I'm going to meet you onto the next row. So we are going to get our yarn, and we are going to make a slip knot, just like that. Take out our hook, get into any front, like the front loop that we left on top. Set your hook and pull through the loop that we just created from our magic knot. So here we are going to chain 2. This counts as a half double crochet stitch. Okay, and into this very same loop we are going to work 2 half double crochets, just like that. And then we work 2 half double crochets once again into the next loop. Sorry, 3 half double into this next loop we are going to work 3 half double crochets, just like that. Now we have 6 half double crochets, and then get into the next loop and work 3 half double crochets, all in this very same stitch. There we go. So we have a total of 9 half double crochets. Now we are going to chain 1 and turn our work and work 2 single crochets into every half double crochet stitch. Okay, so just work 2 single crochets all the way until the end. So you should have a total of 18 single crochets. Okay, so here we are. We are done with working. Yeah. So what we are going to do now, we are going to count 3 front posts and skip them. 1, 2, 3. So into this next front post, the loop. So oh no, into this next front loop. Sorry. we're going to work a slip stitch. This is to attach this end of our petal onto our bra. Okay, so once it is attached, we chain one and turn our work. Now we are going to work a row going back. Okay, so here into the very first single crochet stitch, we work a single crochet, chain one, work one single crochet into the next stitch. So this gives us a good finish at the top and also curls up our petals just a little bit to give them a realistic look of a rose flower. So we chain one and once again work a single crochet in the next stitch, chain one, single crochet into the next stitch, and this is what you're going to do for all the stitches until you come to the end of your row. And once at the end of our row, you can see that our petal is starting to like curl up. You see that? So here we are going to skip the next front loops, 1 2 3, skip 3 of them and get into the next front loop right there, and you work a slip stitch to attach this petal. You see that? Just like that. So this petal is attached onto our front loop. Okay, now what we are going to do here is we are going to chain 2, and into this very same front loop we are going to work 2 half double crochets, and then we work 3 half double crochets into the next front loop. Okay, see that? And then we work 3 half double crochets into the next front loop as well. You see that? So this loop is where we attached our second row of this first petal. Okay, now that means we don't have any front loops left on our very first row. So we chain one and turn our work, and here we are going to be working 2 single crochets into every stitch, just like that. 2 single crochets into every stitch, and you should end up having 18 stitches at the end of your row. So let me meet you there and then show you what to do. Okay, so now we are at the end of our row and we need to attach this petal to the bottom of our bra. Okay, but attach it in a way that it just interlocks, it feels like it's coming from the back of our initial petal. So to do that, we are going to work a slip stitch, and as you can see here, okay, you're going to skip 3 front loops, 1 2 3. So that means the front loop into which we worked our very first row for the first petal is where we are going to work our slip stitch. So find your way into it. It's right there. You see that? It's right there. And that's where you lock up this side of the second petal. Okay, and then you chain one to work the last row of this petal. So you turn your work into this very first double crochet stitch there. We work, into this very first single crochet stitch, we work a single crochet, then chain one, work 1 single crochet, chain 1, work a single crochet into the next stitch. So this helps to curl up your petal. So just keep chaining 1 and working a single crochet into the next stitch all the way until the end, and I'm going to meet you there to show you how to end your row. At the end of our row, just like you can see. All right, now even if you don't count, you already know where to place your slip stitch. Your slip stitch will have to go into the last front loop that worked your very first row for this petal. Okay, which is right there. So even if you count here, you will see that you have 3 loops and this is the 4th. So in there is where you work your slip stitch. So this looks our second petal right behind this petal. Okay, so that's how our very first row looks like. Now we are moving on to our next row. We chain 2 and this helps us cross over to the second row of our front loops. So chain 2 and just find your way into the stitch that is in line with your previous stitch, just like that. And here you're going to chain 2, which counts as a half double crochet stitch, and into this very same front loop you work 2 half double crochets, and then get into the next front loop and work 3 half double crochets, then get into the next front loop and work 3 half double crochets as well. So once we have all 9 half double crochets, we now chain 1 and turn our work, and we are going to work 2 single crochets into every stitch all the way until the end. So we should have 18 stitches. So let me let you do that and then get back to show you what to do. Okay, so I've come to the end of my row. This is how my petal looks like. Now here we are going to work a slip stitch. We just cut off this tail. So now we want to lock this right behind the very last petal that we worked on our very first row. Okay, so always when you cross over onto the next row, okay, the first place where you lock your first petal is going to always be the very first stitch of your last petal. Okay, right here. Okay, so that's where we are going to lock it. We are going to lock it right there, not here. Okay, not where you ended your last petal and then crossed over to the next row. No, we are working into the loop that has the very last half double crochet stitch that started the last petal. Okay, right there is where we work our slip stitch to lock this side of the petal onto the previous petal. Okay, so just like that, you chain 1, turn your work. Now into the very first stitch you work a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the next stitch, and this is what you're going to repeat until the end of the row. You chain 1, work a single crochet into the next stitch all the way until the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you there to show you how to now lock your petal onto the bra. Okay, so here I am at the end of my row. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to count 3 front loops, 1 2 3, and then into the 4th is where I am going to attach this petal onto my cup, just like that. So you can see that we have kept this at the back of this petal and this at the back, so they're more like interlocked, and that's what creates a creative or much more realistic rose flower, if you could say. So from here we are going to chain 2, which counts as a half double crochet stitch, and then we work 2 half double crochets into this very same front loop. Okay, just like that, and then we get into the next front loop and work 2 half double crochets as well. Then work 2 half double crochets into the next front loop, just like that. So we have our 9 half double crochets. Chain 1, turn your work, and here we are going to work 2 single crochets into every loop, every stitch, so that we have a total of 18 stitches. So let me meet you at the end after working your single crochets. So here we are at the end of our of our petal. This is how it looks like. So what we are going to do is we are going to lock this into the very first stitch here of the very first row for our first petal on this row. Now, because we want to lock this petal to the back of this to make it look like it came from the back of this petal, we are going to slip stitch this into this. Okay, yes, into this stitch here on that marked the very last stitch on the first row for this petal, for our previous petal. So get there and work your slip stitch just like that. So chain 1, turn your work, and here we go into the very first stitch, work our single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the next, chain 1, single crochet in the next, and just keep repeating this all the way until the end of the row. Okay, so you can see that our second petal is showing you that it sort of like emerged from the back of the first petal. You see that? It's showing you that it came from the back of this. Okay, this rose flower is very simple if you just learn the basic of interlocking. That's the only art about it. So work your 1 chain single crochet in the next stitch all the way until the end, and let me get back to show you where to lock this petal. So now I've come to the end of my last row for this petal, and what I'm going to do is count 3 loops, 1 2 3, and into the next loop is where I'm going to place my slip stitch, just like that. You see that? So once again I am going to chain 2 here and work 2 half double crochets into this very same loop, and then work 3 half double crochets into the next loop, and then 3 half double crochets into this next loop as well. So we have a total of 9 loops. So once we have that, we chain 1 and turn our work. And here we are going to work 2 single crochets into every stitch. So we're at the end of our row. Let me just show you how it looks like. So technically this is our previous petal. Okay, and I told you when you're locking the next petal for the first time, okay, because we lock them twice, we lock here and then we work our 3rd row, which is the final row of each petal, and then lock it forward, which will be this side. Okay, but when we are locking the first time, we always lock behind our previous petal, and by behind I mean you go and look out for this very first stitch right here that made the previous petal. Okay, because even when you count backwards, still you will see that you have 3 loops which you will be skipping, which is 1 2 3, and that means this is the 4th. Okay, so back and forth we'll be skipping 3 loops, if you get what I mean. I have watched several tutorials on this rose flower, and all of them have just clearly made me get more confused until I had to like get knowledge from either side and put it in a way that is more applicable to me. So for me, this is more applicable and more understandable, and that's, you know, the mathematics is simpler, if you get what I mean. So yes, you count 3 loops backwards. So this is the 4th loop into which we are going to lock this end of the petal too. Okay, So now we chain 1 to work our final row for this petal. Now you can already see that this our petal, which is our present petal, is already looking like it's coming from the back of our previous petal, which I actually want, because I want every loop to be interlocked into the other, because that's how an actual rose flower looks like. So here we are going to work a single crochet in the very first stitch, then chain 1, a single crochet in the next, chain 1, single crochet into the next, and repeat that all the way until the end of the row. And I'm going to meet you there and show you what to do. So I am here at the end of the final row of this petal, like you can see. So you already know that at this point we have to count 3 loops forward. So we count 1, 2, 3 and skip them, work our slip stitch into the next loop. Okay, so far we have 3 loops. So we have 3 petals on this row so far. So to work our final petal, this is what we shall do. We chain 2, work 2 half double crochets into this very same loop, get into the next loop and work our 3 half double crochets. Work your 3 half double crochets into this next front loop. Okay, there we have it. So here you can see that we don't have any more loops left, because this is actually the loop that is in line to the loop into which we ended the very first petal for the first row, okay, that we started, sorry. And on the second row, if you look closely, that's where we locked our first petal for the second row after crossing over, because this is where we crossed over to the next row, but then this is where we attached this side of the petal. Okay, we attached it into this very first stitch. Okay, so that means this should be our very last petal, and here we are going to chain 1 and turn our work 2 single crochets into every stitch, so you have 18 stitches. And let me meet you there and then show you what to do. So here we are at the end of our second row for the last petal, and like I told you, always turn to the back, and even here still you will count back 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, and when you count back, you see that we have to attach it into the loop of our previous petal. Okay, so that's how you lock it to the back of this petal, just like that. This rose flower thing should be very simple, I swear to God. I don't know why it pretty much looks complicated and confusing, but sometimes I feel like it wasn't given enough explanation. So here, chain 1, turn your work a single crochet in the very first stitch, then you chain 1, work a single crochet in the next, chain 1, work a single crochet in the next. So curl up the edge of your petal all the way until the end, and I'm going to get back to show you where to attach this. But obviously you know that when you count 3 loops, you have to attach it into the first loop of our very first petal. I love how this is so easy, like it builds up itself on its own. You just need to get the mathematics right. So here we are at the end of our row, like you can see. So now we want to lock this to the back. So like I told you, you count 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that means the loop that started our very first petal on this row is where we work or lock this. You see that? Now we are going to go ahead and work our next loop, our next petal, which will be on the next row. So we chain 2 to cross over. This helps us cross over. Okay, So the stitching line is this one here. So we work our slip stitch right there. You see that? And now here we are going to chain 2, which counts as a half double crochet stitch, and then we work 2 half double crochets into this very same stitch, and then 3 half double crochets into this next front loop, and 3 half double crochets into the next front loop. So I'm just working this row with you guys, then I'll let you fill up petals on the next rows. So now we chain 1, turn our work 2 single crochets into every stitch all the way until the end. You should have 18 stitches, and let me get back to show you where to look this. So I'm here at the end of my row, and like you can see, I always told you whenever you cross over to the next row, okay, you always need to attach this side of your petal onto the very first loop that started the last row that helped you cross over. Okay, so that loop is this one here. So that's where we attach this. So when we attach it here, it's going to look like it's protruding from our very last petal, protruding from beneath our very last petal. Okay, so yes, we go in there and work our slip stitch just like that. See that, guys? This at this point I feel like this is very simple. Now you are adults, you can now go on on your own. So you chain 1, turn your work, and then work a single crochet in the very first stitch, and chain 1, work a single crochet in the next, and that's what you repeat to curl up your petal all the way until the end. So let me meet you there and then show you where we look. And just like that, we are at the end of our row. So on this row that we are on, we are going to count 3 loops going forward. 1, 2, 3, skip them and get into the next loop, and that's why you work your single crochet. And then here you're just going to go about exactly what we have been doing. Work your half double crochets, 2 half double crochets, and then 3 half double crochets into the next, and 3 half double crochets into the next. And once you have it, you chain 1, turn your work, and work 2 single crochets into every stitch. So once you have worked all your way until the end, here like I told you always, you lock this behind the previous petal. Okay, so to look behind the previous petal, we always look into the last loop in which we worked our very last double crochets for the first row of that petal. Okay, so we get to the back and get into that loop, which is this one here. So that's how you look this to the back of the previous petal. Okay, so now here you chain 1, turn your work. Like you can see, it's already showing that it came from the back of our previous petal. And then from here, you're just going to work 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet, and repeat that to curl up your petal all the way until the end of the row. And I'm going to meet you there to show you where to attach your petal. So once at the end of the row, like you can see, then we count and skip 3 loops and work a slip stitch into the next loop. So at this point, I am confident that you know how to fill in your petals, and you're going to do just that. Okay, so yes, you will work your petals into the next 3, your first row of this petal into the next 2 loops Okay, and just repeat the way we have been doing. So that means this petal will be locked on the second row. The second row of this petal will be locked into the very first row for our previous petal, which is right there. Okay, so that it looks like it's protruding from the back. And then after that, you will count 3 loops forward and skip them, work a slip stitch into the 4th loop, okay, to attach the 3rd row of this petal onto the bra of our cap. So every row on which we are going to be working petals is going to increase the number of petals we have by 2. Okay, so initially you see that we had 2 petals for our very first row. Our second row had 1, 2, 3, 4 petals. So our third row is going to have 6 petals. Our next row will have 8 petals. The next row will have 9 petals, sorry, 10 petals. The next row will have 12 petals, depending on how large and wide your cap is. So for every row, it's going to have an increment of 2 petals. So use the knowledge you have gotten here to feed in your petals all the way until you have worked petals onto this second last row. Okay, right here. We are not working petals into the last row. We are stopping right here. Okay, so let me meet you guys there and then I will show you what to do next. So at the end of feeding in all your petals, this is what you're going to have. Now for me, I left 2 rows unworked, like you can see. Okay, I didn't work into the last one, neither did I work into the second last one over here. So basically that's what it looks like. And then this is what it looks like on the outside. So this design is really good if you leave some bit of like cheeky, if you have more like a cheeky coverage, not like full coverage. But if you feel like you want full coverage, although I feel like it will spoil the whole entire design because the rose petals make this look bulky. So if you make a huge cup, it's going to make your boobs appear too big, which you don't want. So yes, you're going to follow everything that we have done to make a second cup, which is going to also look like this. Okay, so we have 2 cups and now we are going to go ahead and start working. First, we're going to work the straps. We are going to get our yarn and make a slip knot, just like that. So once we've made a slip knot, we are going to chain 10. Okay, this is going to be more like an extension to our underbust. Okay, because it's going to be attached onto the bottom of our bra cap. So this is going to be like an extension that gives you coverage to the sides of your ribs. So we are going to chain 10. I like to chain 10 because 2, 3, 4. Because you don't want to have too much coverage and then you add your straps and it is like too wide to like give you that crisscross coverage at the back. So let's start with 10. After you have 10 chains, you're going to find a chain stitch that is at the corner. Okay, you see this? You remember the corners that we created for our cups? Yes. Now this chain 10 is going to be attached onto the chain 1 that is at the corner, just like that. Don't worry about this, we shall crochet it underneath. Once we have attached it, we are then going to work a single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, and we're just going to continue working 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until we get to the chain 1 space that is at the top of this row. So work your single crochets all the way until the chain one space, which is right here at the next corner. Okay, so here we are at the top of our triangle, just like you can see. So now I'm going to be working a very long strap that will go all the way to the back of our neck, do a crisscross at the back, and then also do the closure for our underbust. So it has to be pretty long. I advise working about 300 stitches or 250, but it's better you have a longer strap than a shorter one. So let's do this. Okay, so here we are with our 300 chains complete. So we are going to be working our way back to our bra or our breast cup. So what we are going to do, we are going to get into the 4th chain stitch from the hook and work a single crochet, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into the next stitch. See that? Chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet in the next, chain 3, skip 3, work 1 single crochet into the next. So this is what you're going to repeat all the way until you are back here. So when you get here, it depends, the number of chains that you work should be equivalent to the number of stitches that you skip. So if you get here and you have probably 2 stitches left, you're definitely going to chain 2 because you have 2 stitches left and skip the 2 stitches. Okay, so basically we are chaining 3 because we are skipping 3 stitches. So just in case you come to the end and it's not 3 stitches, the number that you have left is exactly the chains that you work and the stitches that you skip. Okay, so let me meet you right here when you're about to get to the end of your chains, and then I'll show you how to attach it onto our breast cup. So I have come to the end of my chains, and like you can see, for me I have 1 chain left. Okay, yes, 1 chain stitch left. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, I don't know how to do this now for you guys to understand, but yes, let's work a single crochet into that very last chain. If I go straight into working a single crochet in here, I feel like it's going to leave a gap. Oh, it didn't. So yes, you will work a single crochet into that very last stitch and then go ahead work a single crochet into the chain 1 space. I thought it's going to leave us a gap, so I was figuring out how to work 2 single crochets together, but this is perfect and it looks attached, so that's okay. Now let's go ahead and work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until we get to the chain 1 space of the next corner. Okay, so work your 1 single crochet all the way until you get to the chain 1 space that is right here. That's where I'm going to meet you and then show you what to do, because that's where we're going to join this to this. Okay, so at this point I am confident that we can now go ahead and attach our beads. I'm just going to switch the hook size to a 0.5 hook. It's going to be really tricky to work with this, but let's try. So what I want is to pass my yarn through this bead, okay, and to lock the bead in place. But because I'm working with 2 strands of yarn, it's going to be a little bit tricky because my hook size is too small for this, but it will do the job. Perfect, we just did. So yes, you pull through just like that and your bead is in place, literally. You see that? So after you have gone through, you will chain 1 just to lock this in place. Then we are going to get our second bead and do the very same thing. So we go in right there and yarn over and pull through our yarn. There we go. So you pull to adjust, and then once again you chain one just to lock that bead in, just like that. Then we get another bead. I think I'm going to do 3 because I feel like this is already wide enough. So we're just going to do 3 beads. This is the last bead. So yes, once again, yarn over and pull it through our hole, just like that. Okay, so at this point, yeah, you see what we are having. Perfect. So yes, we have this complete, and now we are ready to attach this onto our bra. So I'm going to get back to my actual hook size, which is a 4mm. Perfect. There we go. So we're going to get our 4mm, and first of all work a chain to close this up. Then we are going to get right into the chain one space that is at the corner of this next bra cap or breast cap, right there. Okay, so in there we work a slip stitch, just like that. So we have attached this onto this. Okay, then we get into the next stitch and work a single crochet. See that? Then continue working 1 single crochet into every stitch. So what we did on the other side is exactly what you're going to do on this side. You see what we have? So I'm going to let you work the rest of it on your own. What you're going to do is you're going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until you get to the chain 1 space at the top of your row right here. And when you get here, you are going to work 300 chains just like we did for this. So you get back by chaining 3, skipping 3, and working a single crochet into the next stitch just like we did for this strap. Okay, and then after you have gotten back to your bra, you're going to now work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until you are at the chain 1 space right here. And when you get here, you will chain 10 just like we did over here. Okay, so I am going to get back after you have worked your second strap and worked all the way to this side and worked your chain 10 extension of your underbust. Then I will get back and show you what to do. Okay, so we are at the end right here. Like you can see, I have my 10 stitches going on this side, and this is how it looks like. I already have my 10 stitches on this side, and those are my straps. And now let's go. We are now going to start working the underbust, but as we work the underbust, we're also going to be working the little holes into which these straps will be tied into for that crisscross closure at the back. Okay, so we are doing everything all at once. I don't want to work and then return and then. Okay, so I have added 1 more chain to make it 11 to help us start our row. So now into the second chain stitch from the hook, you're going to work 1 half double crochet, work 1 half double crochet in the next, just like that, then chain 1, skip 1, work a half double crochet into the next stitch. So this chain 1 is a hole or gap for our strap. Okay, and then here we're going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch. Every stitch until we have 5 stitches to get to the chain 1 space at the corner of our cap. So when you get here into this single crochet post, do you see that? We are going to work a half double crochet just to help us cross over, okay, onto the bottom of our cap right there. and then into the chain 1 space we work 1/2 double crochet. So you see it keeps a straight, you know, edge for us. Then from here you go into this stitch, sorry, into this first stitch, work your 1/2 double crochet, work your 1/2 double crochet. You see what we have? Work your 1/2 double crochet. So you're going to work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until you have 5 stitches to get to the chain 1 space. So you see, these are this is the chain 1 space. So you count back 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To help you with this, you are going to put a slip stitch. So work your 1/2 double crochets until this point, and that's where I'm going to meet you and show you what to do. Now I have worked all the way, like you can see, up to the marked point. So I did the very same thing on this side, counted 5 stitches and marked the 5th stitch. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to work chains that cross us over to that 5th stitch. So here you're going to chain 10, which is going to be the bridge to cross us over to the 5th stitch that we marked on the other side of our bra. Get into this marked stitch on this side, work your 1/2 double crochet. See what we have. So from here we are just going to now work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way until we have 3 stitches to end our row. Now the 3 stitches are the last chain stitches that we have on our chains on the other side. Okay, so work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way until you have 3 stitches on your chains right here. So 3 stitches, that means I'm meeting you here and then show you what to do to end your row. Okay, so here we are. Now I'm going to chain 1 and skip 1, get to work 2 1/2 double crochets into the last 2 stitches. So that's how we have ended our very first row, our underbust. This is how our work looks like. Starting on to the next row, chain 1, turn your work, work 1/2 double crochet into the very first stitch, and you're going to work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch and every chain stitch all the way until the end of the row. Okay, so I'm going to meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so here we are. I'm at the end of my row. This is what it looks like, and I'm going to do the very same thing on the next row for a couple of rows. So going to chain 1, turn my work. I'm just working this row with you guys, then let you work a few more rows on your own before I get back and show you what to do. So when you turn your work, you're going to work 1/2 double crochet into the very first stitch and work 1/2 double crochet in the next. So you're just going to continue working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of your row. You'll do this for the next 2 rows. So I'm going to let you work this row until the end. Okay, and then work 2 more rows, just working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of the row right here. So let me meet you once you have that, and then I'll show you what to do. So here we are at the end of my row. I have a total of 4 rows since my very last chain 1 space right here. So the next row we're about to work, we're going to be putting a chain 1 space so that we also have a hole there. Okay, so we chain 1 and turn our work, and we work 2 half double crochets into the first 2 stitches, so that means you work 1 half double crochet into every stitch for the next 2 stitches. Okay, then we chain 1, skip 1, work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. So that means we have created a hole, okay, where our strap will pass. And then from here we are going to just work 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way until we have 3 stitches to end our row. So I'm going to meet you once you have 3 stitches to end your row, then I'll show you how to end the row and explain something before I let you work the next rows on your own. Okay, so we are at the end of our row. Like you can see, so what we are going to do is we chain 1, skip 1, and then work 2 half double crochets into the last 2 stitches. Oh no, I had to have 3 stitches left to end my row, so yeah, this is where the third is. So this is 1, 2, and then 3. So now you chain 1, skip 1, work 2 half double crochets into the next 2 stitches, just like that. Okay, so you chain 1 and turn your work. From here you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the very first stitch, and then you work 1 half double crochet in the next, 1 half double crochet into the chain gap, and just continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way until you come to the end of the row. And you will repeat this for the next 3 rows. So basically what we are doing is we are working 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of just 1 half double crochet in every stitch, and then working a row which has a hole after the first 2 rows, or before the last 2, after the first 2 stitches, or before the last, and before the last 2 stitches. So basically you make sure you have this hole after these 2 stitches on either side, okay, to spare room for our straps to do the crisscross closure. So you're just going to repeat this, and I'm going to get back to show you the length I have for my underbust before we can work the skirt for our dress. Okay, so my lighting is not great because power has gone off, but let me just show you what we have. I have worked this was where I left you guys. So I worked 4 half double crochet rows before I worked my next hole right here, and then also worked 4 half double crochet rows, okay, and then I worked my final hole. So just to make your last row secure, you're going to work a single crochet row over this, okay, just to make this last hole secure. We work 1 single crochet over this, so that means we work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until the end. Cut your yarn and weave in your ends, and there your top is going to be complete. So let me just show you how mine looks like. So this is how my top looks like, and we have come to the end of our tutorial. Initially I intended to have this as a dress, so watch out my dress version of this. All right, and thank you so much for watching. Let me see you all in the next tutorial. Goodbye.